We're trying to address the complaint.
Well, no, because every time these motherfuckers call you guys, you get 4 cars come out here. Every time I need someone here, you never show up. So listen, am I going under arrest? If I am, let's go. If I'm not, then leave me the fuck alone. Because I didn't break no law.
Talking like that, you're going to go to jail.
I can talk however I want.
No, you can't.
It's called freedom of speech.
No, you cuss again, it's disorderly conduct.
Then leave me. Get off the property.
No,
we have no reason to be here.
No, we are here to address a complaint.
You know, you're addressing their complaint. No.
On August 24th, 2021, Deputy Niles Crane with the Brooke County Sheriff's Department responded to a call about a neighbor's dogs allegedly jumping out of a fenced-in yard and scaring a neighbor, who apparently doesn't like dogs. Despite the fact that animal control appears to have already been involved and confirmed that the dogs were properly contained, the deputy and his partner enter onto a man's private property and confront him. The man relayed to the officers that the dogs were contained, properly licensed, etc., and then asked the officers to leave. He did use some swear words. As officers many times do, they think that they can act as the morality police and tell someone what language they are allowed to use. They end up arresting him for using swear words on his own property at the residence and then tased him multiple times for allegedly resisting arrest. He obtained a good criminal defense attorney who quickly had the charges dismissed with prejudice and who brought the case to me, and now you get to see the footage for the first time, which will be featured in a federal civil rights lawsuit along with myself and the attorney who successfully defended against those criminal charges, Alex Risovich of Wellsburg, West Virginia. So first we'll take a look at some of the body cam footage from one of the deputies. And the first thing that they do is they go up to the house of the people who called the cops on the dogs. And you'll notice that the person who greets him by his first name.
Hello.
Right there where that block garage is right there, right next to this. The blue garbage cans. Yeah, the blue garbage cans.
Okay.
There's nobody. I don't know if anybody lives in the house anymore or not. I know they had moved out and moved in with her mother up the street, but they have 3 German Shepherds, and 2 of them jumped the fence today and came after my niece. They're very aggressive. If she didn't have treats in her hand, I think the dog would have ate her, honestly. So I screamed for my husband to get his weapon, and because they were coming over into our yard. What are you doing? And it ended up eventually going out the end of the road, but the kids can't even, that's my sister that lives there in the brick house.
Okay.
And we can't even let my kids walk over there because we're afraid that the dogs, they just like so aggressive at the gate when they're outside that you can't even, you have to go with them. They can't even play in this yard right here because of that reason, and that's exactly what happened. I was standing right up here and they jumped that corner. I would have never got to them, never got to them. And I'm telling you, I really don't want them to have to see something horrible like that, but that's the only way that it's going to stop them.
So are the dogs in the house or in the building?
He come outside, and my husband said they come after one of the kids, and he said, I try to keep them locked up. They've been called numerous times before because they were killing my son's chickens. Chill. That's my son. We all live, we're all family in this.
From the dog warden.
Then they go to the man's house who owns the dogs. They walk up the driveway and they attempt to make contact. They enter his private property, no warrant, and no real allegation that he had committed any crime. They end up throwing handcuffs on him, grabbing him right out of his yard. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. Second house down there on the right. Mm-hmm. It might be that trailer too.
Yeah, you see Tom was outside.
Well, you know, there's an alley down there. Mark 'em. Mark 'em. Wendell, are you Wendell?
Yep. My dog got out, it ran around the fence, and it came right back in. Didn't hurt anybody, didn't hurt anything. I talked to the dog catcher, so what's the problem? My dogs are licensed, they're kept in every day. The only reason they got out today is because I was home.
They're getting out, that's what
They're not getting out, they just got out today.
No, they
Okay,
don't
what did they do? What did they do wrong? Tell me.
they ran
Do I
around.
have a fine to pay?
Mr. Markham.
No, do I have a fine? Am I under arrest?
We're trying to address the complaint.
Well, no,
with you.
because every time these motherfuckers call you guys, you get 4 cars come out here. Every time I need
That's
someone
just-
here,
that's how we
you
roll.
never show up. So listen, am I going under arrest? If I am, let's go. If I'm not, then leave me the fuck alone.
You know
Because
what?
I didn't break
Keep
no
talking
law.
like that, you're gonna go to jail.
I can talk however I want.
No, you can't.
It's
You
called
cuss.
freedom of speech.
No, you cuss again. It's disorderly
Okay,
conduct.
then leave me. Get off the property.
No,
we have no
we are
reason to
here
be here.
No, we are here to address a complaint.
You know, you're addressing their complaint.
I'll
No.
talk to them. Okay. The dogs are harmless. They are. They love kids. We have kids. We got 2 3-year-old and a
We're around
4-year-old.
kids every day.
They would never hit it. Never.
3-year-old and a
And a
4-year-old.
4-year-old. And
It's
those kids
bullshit.
get on
They
their
didn't
backs
chase
and ride.
anybody.
Those
And
dogs
listen, the
would.
motherfucker said he's going to
You're under arrest. Disorderly conduct.
do that all
I'm
No,
on
no,
private
no, no.
property.
Get out now.
No.
Get out now. You're going to get tased. I'm telling you right now. Get out now.
Come
out.
Get out. No. He's under arrest. Get out.
Attack, buddy.
I don't give a shit.
You will.
Get out now.
Leave him alone.
We're not playing games.
I don't want to fight. If I
Put
wanna
your hands
fight,
behind
you
your back.
Hey.
And then the old taser comes out, and he's tased multiple times. It sounds extremely painful. Take a look at the footage.
You want to resist arrest?
I'm not resisting. Get a picture. Get a look. They're trying to trip me up. Get a picture. Get a picture.
Why are you resisting? Stop resisting. Because he's resisting arrest, ma'am.
Why is he?
It's all on video. We told him to stop cussing, and he's under arrest for disorderly conduct. Give me the other hand, and you're going to get it again. They're breaking my neck. I can't hardly breathe now. I can't breathe. They're getting my neck. They're not allowed to have their neck on my neck. They're not on your neck. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Oh, yeah, you can't breathe. Get the fuck. You can breathe.
Now I can't talk and breathe. Hold on my shoes.
He's going to the regional jail. He ain't nowhere.
Put my shoulders up. All right? Now come on.
Hey, Brooke, 10-15, taser deployed.
10-4, you're 10-15, taser deployed, 1943.
83, Bucks, 10 back.
We got to loosen this up.
No, we're not doing nothing.
10-4. Now I'm going to be driving the lead.
We're good?
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Do you have everything? Did you lose anything?
Left, 2 seconds, go.
Did you lose anything? You just dry standing, right? All right.
Can I talk for a second? Listen, I'm 77 years old. You guys put your hands on me.
Well,
Listen to me.
he resisted
No,
arrest.
I understand.
I'm coming down right now.
Listen. They shoot guns over there all the time. Right
Okay.
off their porch.
Uh-huh.
Off at the porch, they shoot. That disturbs the dogs.
Okay. Then why aren't you calling?
I'm going to.
Are you calling us when they do that? Okay.
And they do that, and these guys here, they're rescued. All these
That's
dogs
fine.
are rescue dogs. You know,
That's fine.
no, I don't. But I'm 77 years old. I don't need this. I know what he did. I saw, I understand that. But don't take another two.
It's.
Please.
We can't. We have to.
Why?
Because we told him to stop.
I know, but he will stop.
Yeah, he's going to stop now because he's in jail.
Because he's bipolar and stuff.
That's not an excuse to cuss.
I know.
And scream.
I tell him I know.
And then he resisted arrest. And that's the problem.
I know.
That's why he got tased, because he was trying to fight us.
So
do you own the... No, I can't. Do you own the German Shepherds?
No.
Okay.
They all
Who
have
does?
license. My daughter does. Yeah. Listen, they all have license, and they're all, have rabies. They all have their shots and everything. We take care of them. Two of them, the females are spayed. We had them spayed when we got them. They're not vicious dogs. They jumped that fence because when he left that yard, they jumped the fence.
You guys are actually a bunch of hoodlums.
Anyway, can you change your mind?
We can't. Once we place him under... No, we can't.
You didn't place him under arrest.
Yes,
You can
we did.
reject that. You didn't have any citations.
Hey, Brooke, you back out.
He's under arrest.
I'm gonna call the chief.
Okay.
Oh
We
my
might have
God.
another issue back there. Who is that walking in the alley screaming and yelling? She'll go to jail too.
Which one?
Some blonde girl.
Oh, that's...
So what happened?
Complaint that German Shepherds are jumping the fence.
Yes, there's two German Shepherds.
Right.
I seen them there.
So we were coming here to address the complaint.
Okay.
Cussing, advise him to stop. It's disorderly conduct.
Why is he there?
I'm trying to tell you that.
Is he arrested?
Yes.
Okay. Let me call the lawyer.
Go right ahead. Do you want to hear the rest of the story or no?
I don't give a shit.
Look, have a good day.
523.
Let's go. We're leaving. We're done dealing with all this shit. Let's go.
That's right. My client was arrested for using swear words on his own property. And now the arresting officer just used a swear word. And he wasn't even on his own property, but ironically, he was illegally on his arrestee's property. And you just can't make this stuff up. So let's break down the law. In general, most states have a breach of the peace law that criminalizes certain speech and conduct, including the use of swear words, obscene or abusive language in a public space, or engaging in noisy behaviors, etc. In 1971, the U.S. Supreme Court held in Cline versus California that offensive or vulgar speech that was not directed at a person or did not cause a violent reaction, such as wearing a jacket in a courthouse that says F the draft on it, could not be interpreted as disturbing the peace. The Supreme Court sent a clear message through this ruling and others that free speech, however offensive and controversial, is afforded a high level of protection. In that case, Justin Harlan noted that, quote, one man's vulgarity is another's lyric, and, quote, because government officials cannot make principled distinctions in this area, that the Constitution leaves matters of taste and style so largely to the individual. Justice Harlan also warned that the government might soon seize upon the censorship of particular words as a convenient guise for banning the expression of unpopular views. In 1974, the Supreme Court in Lewis versus City of New Orleans reversed a conviction under a Louisiana statute that provided that, quote, it shall be unlawful in a breach of the peace for any person wantonly to curse or revile or to use obscene or opprobrious language towards or with reference to any member of the city police while in the actual performance of his duty. Because the state might seek to use the law to convict people for words that were merely vulgar or offensive and which were therefore protected by the First and 14th Amendments, it was found to be overly broad and invalid on its face. So the Supreme Court struck down a law that said you couldn't curse in your conversations with police officers, basically. Justice Lewis Powell wrote a concurring opinion in that case, agreeing that the law was overly broad, expressing concern that because this kind of law, quote, tends to be invoked only where there is no other valid basis for arresting an objectionable or suspicious person, it presented an opportunity for abuse by police, which I would argue we see all the time, and we're seeing right here. West Virginia specifically does have a breach of the peace statute, and that's what this man was arrested for, West Virginia Code 61-6-1B. And that provides basically that any person who's in a public place who uses violent, profane, indecent, or boisterous conduct or language, or unreasonably loud noise that's intended to cause annoyance or alarm to another person, or who persists in such conduct after being requested to desist by law enforcement officers acting in their official capacity, is guilty of disorderly conduct, a misdemeanor, etc., etc. So basically, breaking this down, the West Virginia breach of the peace / disorderly conduct law says, number one, the person has to be in a public place where he, number two, disturbs the peace of others by, quote, violent, profane, indecent, or boisterous conduct or language. And number three, is requested to desist by a law enforcement officer and refuses. Here's a question. Can the other person be the law enforcement officer who is disturbed? No. There is actually a West Virginia case directly holding that the police cannot be the other person whose peace is being disturbed. In 2015, the West Virginia Supreme Court wrote an opinion in the case of Maston versus Wagner that held specifically that the term others does not include law enforcement officers, and that there has to be some other citizen around to hear the interaction, to hear the swear words, and then complain about it. In fact, the Maston decision notes in that case that both the police expert and the plaintiff's expert witnesses, so this was a civil lawsuit, both of the expert witnesses on both sides agreed on this point. The court mentioned in the opinion that the police officer's expert in that case said that, quote, you can swear at an officer as long as you're not physically threatening them. In summary, the West Virginia disorderly conduct statute, while potentially criminalizing profane language under some circumstances, if in public in front of other people who complain, who are not police officers, does not criminalize swear words or profane language uttered during a citizen's interaction with law enforcement, period. However, somewhere in their experience or in their training, this officer, Brooke County Deputy Niles Cline, believes that he was acting within his authority to arrest this man just for using swear words during their interaction, even though he's standing on his own private property of his residence in a non-public area. That brings up the law on warrantless arrests. So that statute aside, in West Virginia, police officers can make a warrantless arrest if they have probable cause to believe that a crime was committed and that that individual was the one who committed the crime. Now, for misdemeanor crimes, the crime must have been committed in the officer's presence to make a warrantless arrest. Otherwise, they have to go to a judge and obtain an arrest warrant first. A police officer may not perform a warrantless arrest of a subject in their home. An arrest warrant is required. That's the important fact here, is we're at an individual's residence. Here, he wasn't actually inside the home. He was first in the driveway and then in the yard when they actually took him into custody, as shown by the video. Does that matter? Well, the 1980 Supreme Court of the United States case of Payton versus New York held that absent exigent circumstances, an arrest in the home or curtilage area around the home must be accomplished by means of an arrest warrant. 2001, we had a case here in the Fourth Circuit, Rogers versus Pendleton, which held that police officers must have probable cause plus either a warrant or exigent circumstances to perform a search or seizure within the curtilage of a man's home. The court noted that even though any private individual may be able to walk into a man's curtilage, walk up and knock on the door, talk to the individual, if the resident asks officers to leave, they are required to leave unless they have a warrant or exigent circumstances. And that's what they always say. We have the right, just like any individual citizen, to walk up to somebody's house and knock and talk, knock on the door. And that is true. However, where they are asked to leave, they do not have that right. They have to leave. And here you saw on the video, you heard on the video that he said basically, am I under arrest or not? He asked them to leave. And he used some swear words while doing it. They didn't have any right to remain on his property. There can be no doubt that curtilage includes a fenced-in yard and immediate driveway. There just can be no doubt. Sometimes there's gray areas in that area of the law. There's not going to be here, in my opinion. Now, then we had the tasering. I really enjoyed taser cases because there's a lot of great case law for plaintiffs' lawyers on tasers. For instance, just to summarize a few of them, the Fourth Circuit, where we are, where this case happened, the Fourth Circuit has explained that, quote, deploying a taser is a serious use of force, that it's designed to inflict a painful and frightening blow, and that it may only be deployed when a police officer is confronted with an exigency that creates an immediate safety risk and that is reasonably likely to be cured by using the taser. The court has ruled that such a safety risk does not exist simply because an arrestee is doing something that can be characterized as resistance, such as refusing manipulations of the body. For instance, in all these cases where you see stop resisting, where allegedly they're not allowing their hands to be handcuffed. All right, that's not enough. The court has held this specifically. The individual must be either a dangerous felon, and that's known to the officers, or he must be a flight risk or an immediate threat to somebody's safety. The Fourth Circuit, where we are, has specifically held that it is excessive and an unreasonable use of force for a police officer to repeatedly administer electrical shocks with a taser on an individual who is unarmed, who has been brought to the ground, and who is being restrained physically by multiple officers, posing no immediate threat to officer safety. It's very clear that tasing arrestees in response to minimal, nonviolent resistance constitutes excessive force. And that appears to be what has happened here on this video. However, that's why they build courthouses. That's why we have jury trials, and we'll sort that out in court. Following the warrantless arrest of our client here for disorderly conduct and obstructing an officer, both of these charges were subsequently dismissed with prejudice on January 7th, 2022, thanks to the criminal defense attorney, Alex Risovich, who I look forward to working with in the civil case here. And that's what's happening now. Now the remedy is civil. We intend to file a federal Section 1983 lawsuit to pursue justice for this man, to seek the remedy that the Congress has given us, and that's to seek an award of money damages in an amount that will be determined by a jury, as well as attorney's fees and expenses, however much it takes for us to get to that point and to get justice. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated. If you have any additional information on this police officer or anything pertaining to it, please reach out to us. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and spread the word.